He's probably one of the strongest guys you'll ever find for his age. His numbers are very, very impressive. And make sure to check out his channel after watching this interview because you will be amazed and inspired. So, how you doing today, Alec?
I'm doing great. It's kind of cool just to be here.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. I've been following you for some time now, and I've always been impressed by your numbers because of your age, number one. And secondly, the fact that you're doing it naturally. So I'm just curious, how long have you been lifting for?
The thing is, a lot of people ask me that question on my channel, and it's not so much that I just started training and everything was good from the get-go. I sort of like, I've been around it for a while. My dad was pretty big into it. Back when we lived in New Jersey, he had a basement gym, and I was too young to use it, but when I was 12, he sort of started taking me to the gym, and I was just around it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing chest and arms once a week, and that was my routine. And
Yeah.
that was like at the most often. Sometimes I'd like not even go for a month. But when I got serious, I was towards the end of my freshman year in high school because of wrestling. I really wanted to be as strong as possible. But again, I still didn't know exactly what I was doing. It was mainly chest was my bread and butter. I was push-pull legs, and chest was priority. No rows, no pull-ups, no squats, nothing like that. As of a year ago is when it really started to click. So when I started to do deadlifts and all these different pulls, and a couple months later, last September is when I started squatting. So it's just sort of evolved.
Right. So you ran pretty basic programs back in the day. No real
Yeah,
emphasis on strength progression, if you will. Like just
yeah,
basic bro splits, stuff like that. And
yeah.
you still managed to gain this incredible amount of strength in a short time frame. What do you think that is due to?
I think it's due to the emphasis on instead of, even though my goal was to get bigger and stronger, or just bigger in general, I wouldn't really focus on my weight. I just focus on how much I put on the bar, and that really just skyrocketed my progress because it's hard to monitor your progress. Muscle doesn't just come on as quick as people would like to think it does. It can come quick, but you're not going to see day-to-day progress.
Right.
With weights, like you could see that day-to-day progress, and it's just a lot easier.
Right. And when you first started this serious strength training, what were your numbers at approximately? Say squat, bench press,
Okay,
deadlift.
last year, the first time I deadlifted, I hit 365.
Okay.
First time I squatted, I hit like 265 for 5 beltless just to ease into it. And at bench press, I don't know, I was 12, so who cares? I
Well,
was,
you did a 315 incline bench. So I'm
yeah, it's
curious,
fine.
like,
Yeah,
so obviously you put a lot of strength on that. So you basically, you went from like late novice, if you will, maybe early intermediate, to pretty much hitting some advanced numbers in a very short time frame.
yeah.
Like so a 365 dead to a 600 or 605 conventional, yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, everyone's going to want to know, what type of programming did you use to get to that?
For once I discovered Bulgarian, I started doing that, but it wasn't anything with the conventional deadlift, and I knew I couldn't do it with the conventional deadlift. So I do like Jefferson, hack, and then I do like bench, and then I realized like I really want to get my conventional up, so I started to do Bulgarian for like other things that would carry over, or what I would think to carry over, like rows and squats and all that. And then that sort of became my thing. Did I freeze? Oh, there
So,
we go.
no, we're good.
So it sort of became my thing where just back and legs every day, and then pressing I would do every other day because my elbows get kind of irritated if I do it too often.
Right.
And yeah, and lately I've sort of programmed basically entirely around the conventional deadlift, where a conventional deadlift once a week, heavy, whether it's a max or a volume day, and then another day I have like an accessory day for that, where it's just 5 by 10 RDLs, and yeah, and then in between I still do like back exercises and then some squats and all that, and press is still basically the same thing.
Okay. So I just want to get a little bit more detail on how this all worked. So you started off, you were looking into Bulgarian. I'm assuming you found that through Eric Bugenhagen or
Yeah,
Online
like
Strength.
first I knew your channel, and then you sort of shouted him out, and then I found his channel, and it seemed just like such an awesome system. So I wanted to try for myself, and I was really passionate about the conventional deadlift, so I wanted to program around that.
Okay, and when you were doing your hacks and your Jeffersons, was it classic Bulgarian every day or every other day?
No, it was classic. It was just every day.
Okay, just every day you were blasting that lift, getting stronger over time, and when you plateaued, you'd rotate the movement.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. But would you say that what you're doing now is more effective for raising strength?
For general strength purposes, I'd definitely say so. I got a little bit of heat for a couple of videos I made.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, people thought I was trashing the odd lifts. That's not at all what I was doing. I was basically just saying, these kids, they're posting their lifts on Instagram, and they're obviously very serious about getting strong.
Right.
I'm trying to tell them that if you want to get really strong, do the conventional deadlift. It's going to strengthen you overall way more than those odd lifts. I mean, you could, if you like doing them, do them. I still do them, but if you really want to accelerate your strength development, you got to prioritize that.
Yeah. I think it goes back to having a base, you know? You have a lot of novices who haven't been lifting for a long period of time, and you see them doing rack pulls above the knee and all kinds of exercise that they just don't require this current time frame. And that's why
Yeah,
I
and
always said, like, keep it basic for now, raise your strength, and then start icing the cake later, you know?
yeah, and like, cheat rows are good. Cheat rows are good. I love them.
Yeah.
I actually like them better than strict rows, but novices shouldn't be jumping to them. And as much as the mind muscle connection might be a meme, it's real. You should really develop that mind muscle connection so you know if your back's working in a row. If you cheat too much and it stops working, you got to be able to feel that.
Absolutely.
And novices just don't really know that.
Yeah.
So keep it strict, keep it basic.
What I find interesting with you, though, is that you kind of, not to play devil's advocate here, but you did the reverse of what you're saying. You started off with the hacks and the Jeffersons, and you built your base with that, technically. And then you moved on to the conventionals, yeah?
Well, it was close. When I started deadlifting, my first deadlift ever was the conventional deadlift, and that was my obsession for a couple of weeks. Just I got to break 4 plates, and once I hit it, and then I hit like a week or two later, I hit 425, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm just looking at the deadlift platform, like I have no idea what else I was gonna do. I was so focused on hitting this, so I'm like, why don't I try to Jefferson deadlift? And I hit 445, and then I'm like, okay, why don't I try to Zercher deadlift? And then I hit 315, and then I'm like, okay, this can work too. I like this.
Yeah. And what was funny, what was
yeah.
cool about you is that you were making serious PRs on these lifts. Like I was seeing your hack lifts. I think you started off with like 600 or something, and next thing you know, 6.5, and it kept going and going and going. And next thing you know, you're doing 800 pounds in the damn lift, and that's like unheard of, you know.
I don't think it's so much as like it's so strong. I think it's just that nobody really has tried to take it so extreme except for like a few people. So it sort of just stands out in that way.
Well, I mean, I've tried, my friend, and my best was 655, and like I can't even imagine, like the fact that you pulled 800 is just insane. So much respect for that. But I want to ask your opinion on accessory work, because you're saying that basically you do conventional once a week, if I'm correct, yeah. And then the other days is accessories. So do you tend to rotate these accessories, and how specific are they? Because you said the RDL. Like, how important is
the RDL? Is my favorite accessory by far. It really is sort of. I think it's mainly responsible for my progress from just being able to break 600, because I was sort of leading with my upper body, and then like I would just sort of yank it and hope for the best. But I learned to really drive with my glutes and hamstrings through just hammering RDLs.
What's a typical set and rep range for that?
5x10 is my favorite.
5x10, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty moderate volume. I mean, it's pretty high volume, but at the same time, I'm not gonna just get too sloppy with it.
Right, and you wear a belt with these, correct?
Yeah, I like to work up. I like to do like a heavy set of at least 455 for 5, and then drop down to. Last time I hit 385 for 5x10. I'm probably gonna just do 405 5x10 next time.
Okay. So it's not like you're going overly heavy, because I know you're capable of hitting higher numbers, but you're really trying to keep it to a lower percentage and work on building your strength, not necessarily testing it.
Yeah. Okay.
And you'll do the RDLs once a week as well? Like
once a week, yeah. Wednesday, Thursday, just like somewhere in between Sundays, like halfway through the week, so I can recover and then hit more heavy deadlifts.
Okay. So I want to make it as clear as possible in case people are trying to employ some of your methods, right? So you do the conventional deadlift once a week, RDL once a week on Wednesday or Thursday, correct?
Yeah.
And then is there another session like on a Friday or a Sunday?
No.
Pull?
I'm trying to keep sort of fresh for a 5x5 deadlift day or something like that.
Have you been doing that currently though?
Yeah. I mean, I uploaded footage fairly recently where I was doing, I think it was either 505 or 515 5x5. pretty brutal stuff. Once you actually start doing it, it's hard.
Right. And that's what you do when you're pulling off the floor. So you're not really emphasizing the one rep maxes necessarily.
No, I like to do them just to see where I'm at. But as far as what's gonna make me progress more, it's gonna definitely be those volume days. Because the thing is, you can't do it too often, so you have to slam as much volume into one session as you can.
Okay. So then I'm curious then, how important are one rep maxes to you now?
Oh, they're really important to me because I like to know what my max is.
Yep.
But as far as in strength training, in programming and training, they kind of have to take a back seat for the conventional deadlift.
Okay. Are there any other accessories that you'd highly recommend? I know Kaylor Woolham does the cheat rows, the barbell rows like that.
Yeah, Kaylor Woolham, he advocates cheat row style where it's like a cross between a cheat row and like a Romanian deadlift, and I think has really good carryover. I also like just doing hamstring curls because for a while I just could not feel my hamstring working, so I was just trying to feel them out, just hitting hamstring curls left and right.
Right. Okay. So I think that pretty much clarifies the conventional deadlift. So it's pretty cool that you're using it to get carryover to a bunch of different lifts, and you stand by the statement that it does have the most carryover, right? To trap bar lifts, hacks, Jeffersons, all those exercises.
Definitely. No doubt about it.
So if you were to do a hack deadlift right now, do you think it'd be harder than it was before?
If I were to do it right this second, probably not. Just because the conventional deadlift, you have to just hammer in that you're not yanking it. You have to make sure that you're pulling it smooth. If you gave me like 3 days, sure. If I just remember, just yank.
Right.
Because the mentality is so different.
Yeah.
You're taking out of it to jump right back.
Right. Okay. So there's still the specificity aspect. It's not like you just jump straight in, but you would have a better.
Yeah, it's not like the specificity of strength. Just knowing what you're doing and feeling the motion out.
Right. Do you do any lower back and ab work?
Honestly, not really. I feel like my lower back and abs are lit up for days after deadlifting. So I feel like if they're developing, that's a sure indicator.
Like you get sore in your lower back and abs? Is that what you mean by
lit
up?
Yeah.
Okay. But if it was a weakness, do you think you'd be isolating it? Or it's just not something that you think is required?
I don't know. My lower back is definitely not a weak point in my body. I can some of my old videos, I was doing seated good mornings with like 500 pounds.
Wow, okay.
So if anything, I would just try and strengthen up my glutes and hamstrings to take some of that load off of my lower back, if that's really the problem, or just learn to pull with more balanced distribution.
Right. Okay. So I want to move on to the squats. So you're deadlifting. Okay. So when do you fit in the squats into your strength training program?
Lately, I've just been doing daily minimums, and just get to where the bar slows down, and then just do a drop set, and that's about it. My squats, I have to admit, I've sort of been not thinking about too much, just because the deadlift, I'm just like, deadlift here, deadlift Sundays, and I'm just so sore, and I'm trying to progress on them. It's like I'm so scatterbrained with it.
Yeah. So it's about specialization, in other words. If you want to be the best deadlifter, don't put all your effort into squats.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just need to spend more time lifting, and it'll all come together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the presses. I'm curious about this because you did a 315 incline bench, which is very, very, very strong. How exactly do you program that? Like you're saying you're pressing every other day for one. You're not doing it every day because of recovery, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah. So, that's really it. I just press every other day. Sometimes I do rep work, sometimes I do one rep maxes. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Lately, I've been kind of emphasizing the pause bench just because I feel like my technique, I have to stay tight on that, whereas opposed to touch and go, I get a little bit sloppy.
Right.
So, and it's been progressing pretty quickly. When I started doing it, I could only hit 255 for like 4, and recently I hit 275 for 7.
Wow.
So that was just in like a couple weeks.
That's really strong, bro. That's really, really good. That means your bench is up there.
Yeah, I hit I hit 305 for 3 pause, so maybe I almost hit 315 for 2, but that was like after deadlifting and volume deadlift days. They say like drinking is like borrowing happiness for the next day. Deadlifting is like borrowing strength from the next couple days.
You're saying that the deadlift affects your recovery for presses?
Your whole body is just like it's your CNS, so you're just
Right.
not going to perform optimally. I do my best. I try and do things I haven't done before. Like that was the heaviest I'd tried for pause benching. So it's something. That's technically a PR because I've never done that before. So
Yeah. So when trying to raise your bench, would you put it before the deadlift day if you're going to be going heavy, and then maybe volume the day after?
yeah, I mean you just gotta play around with it. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
And either way, like I'm seeing progress anything I'm doing. So maybe I'll run into a wall and then I'll have to work around it. But for now, I'm doing fine.
Okay. How basic is the exercise selection? You mentioned you're doing pause benching, but are there any other accessories that you're incorporating?
Not really. Just other presses are going to carry over to it because it's all using the same muscles. So, some strict pressing, incline pressing, which I haven't done as much. Dips again, which I haven't done as much. Dumbbell incline, all that stuff's going to carry over. Your delts, your chest, your triceps are all going to get stronger.
But if you're going to be doing these lifts, it would only be one per session, right? It's not like you do multiple presses at the same time.
No, I don't do that.
Okay. So it's still kind of true to the Bulgarian principles in a sense. The only difference being that you're pressing every other day, and you're mixing in higher volume and high intensity at the same time.
Yeah. More like frequency and intensity because volume is, again, I'm not really doing a ton of it.
Right. Well, the RDLs, you said you're doing 5 sets of 10.
Yeah.
For your presses, what's a commonality that you like using? Do you prefer ramping sets, one sets? Like, what's your?
I like to just pick a weight and say, all right, I want to hit this many reps with this weight, so I can see if I'm better.
Right.
So it's almost like you would approach, say, just a pull up, like, oh, I can do this many pull ups. I just pick a weight, like, okay, this is my weight. I'm gonna hit this many reps. So that was my approach for the pause bench. I'd say, okay, 275 today. I hit it for 5 reps yesterday. I'll hit it for 6 reps today, and then 6 reps yesterday, or the day before, 7 reps today.
Okay. So it's pretty simple then. You're just picking a way that you want to make progress on, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to beat that PR. And when you beat the PR, you stop at the presses.
Yep. And move on to the next thing.
Awesome. Do you ever incorporate back off sets or drop sets? Or
Yeah. Like I said with the squat, I'll work up to a daily minimum. Sometimes it's a little bit tougher than I like, but regardless, I'll do a drop set. And then with the bench, I'll do like last time I did a drop set. It was just 225 close grip for just reps, and that was it.
Awesome. For deadlifts, do you ever incorporate rack pulls below the knee?
Not really. I've done it before, but it didn't really feel like it was helping. While my lockout is my struggle point, I feel like it was just because I was pulling a little bit
too explosively.
Yeah, it was just totally inefficient. I was. If you go and look back at my footage, before I uploaded my 605 deadlift where I actually hit it. I uploaded an old attempt, and you can just see where I'm going wrong. I just yank.
Right.
I try and be as explosive off the floor as possible, but the way I do it, I just totally try and drive with my lower body.
Okay, so you're really focusing on your technique now. You stand in the middle, you're using your heels, you're driving through, and there's no you're not shaking the bar like crazy before. There's less of that yanking action going on.
I don't know, if I do it, it's totally inadvertently. I think I just, I set my hands, my straps, and I just, yanked, make sure I feel my lats, and then I pull.
Okay, simple. If you're going to do behind the back deadlifts, though, would you still do that, or you yank?
Oh, yeah, I definitely yank the bar. It's just like you got to feel, it's so much weight, you got to feel it, come off the ground a little bit.
Right.
Before you do it.
Okay,
it's like, awesome. I can move this.
Awesome.
Get psyched up, all that.
Yeah, okay. How about block pulls? You ever do those?
Block pulls and rack pulls, as far as like the deadlift, it's not a whole lot different. I'd say it's probably, if you're going to use a lot of weight, it's probably safer for the bar to do a block pull. Mm-hmm. Regardless, I don't really do them. I've done them for hack deadlifts just to feel what it feels like at the top. Like I did it slightly below the knee just to see. I don't know. I think it just made me feel more weight because 800 is a lot different from 700. So, and that was where I was at with the hack deadlift at the time, and I think it might have helped.
Okay. Now I noticed that you use a lot of straps in your pulls.
Yeah.
Do you always use straps in your training?
Not really. I don't use them for a ton of stuff. As far as like pull-ups, I'm not going to use them.
Yeah.
Uh, for I don't know, for the Zercher stuff, I don't really use them just because to get them on my knees, it's kind of complicated to like unravel the strap as you're like setting it on your knees.
For sure, yeah.
But I think straps just sort of because the knurling on that bar is pretty much non-existent. So
Yeah, I get it. I
I'm
have
also
the same
trying
problem.
I'm trying to like work on hook grip too. So maybe I'm trying to like just not necessarily always use straps. I mean, I could pull even on a bar with no knurling, I could pull 405 for 2. It's not like insane grip strength, but it's something.
Yeah. Well, the knurling is a problem, man. And I know from experience. Ever since I got this little home gym area, I have like a West Side power bar, and you feel the difference. Like you don't even need chalk. When you use these commercial gym bars, they're like glass. So there's nothing to grab
the thing
onto.
is, the bar is so old. It's been through the ringer.
Horrible
So
stuff. It's really
the
bad
knurling
stuff.
is just gone. The best knurling I've ever felt on anything was these adjustable dumbbells I had.
Yeah.
The knurling, it like leaves like pin marks in your hand. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's how it should be, man. Well, usually a lot of trap bars have pretty nice knurling.
Oh yeah, trap bars too. I tried to pull. Well, I did pull like 675 for 2. My hands were ripped, just totally gone.
Awesome. Now, because you're deadlifting at a it's pretty high frequency if you ask me, and pretty high volume at the same time. Would you use straps on all of that stuff, like your 5x5 deadlifts, your 5?
Oh yeah. You don't want grip to be a limiting factor if you're trying to do volume work. It'd be kind of dumb. If you're doing doubles and triples though, singles, doubles, triples, maybe you don't need to use straps, especially if you're a powerlifter.
Yeah.
But if you're doing high volume work, you're not even thinking about your grip, so you don't want to have that to hold you back.
Yeah, that sounds solid to me. Plus, you're gonna have better recovery at the same time, so you'll be able to make more PRs week in and week out. And if you just need extra grip work, you could just do it after.
I'd say the grip is easy to recover from, but you just don't want to have that even as a thought, like, oh, is my grip gonna slip? So
absolutely. So, do you ever incorporate grip work to raise your pulls, or it's not necessary?
I've been playing around with it. It's not so much grip work. We have this thick bar. I don't know if it's an axle bar or not. It's just really thick. So I've been doing like double overhand thumbless pulls and holds and just some rows and just playing around with it, tiring out my grip. I don't know if it's going to carry over to my pulls, but it's fun to do.
For hypertrophy, do you first of all, is that one of your goals, or your main thing is just strength, performance, stuff like that?
I like to get some hypertrophy stuff in there every now and then. Lately, I've just been throwing in some curls afterwards, maybe some tricep overhead extensions, which I'd never really done before. But the first time I did them, the pump was so intense because I'd never done it before in that area of my tricep. So it was pretty cool, and I like doing that now. I've also been throwing in some lateral raises, been going pretty crazy with those.
Okay.
Because genetically, I'm pretty shoulder dominant, so I can do some stupid stuff with lateral raises. I hit like 45s for 30 reps yesterday.
Wow,
on the
that's
left.
amazing.
Yeah, but I'm gonna like sort of rest up on it so I don't like wear out my shoulder joint or anything, and then I'll just jump right back into it.
Okay. Now,
Maybe 50, who knows?
Would you say that you've gained a lot of mass since you started getting all the strength?
Oh yeah, definitely. I gained mass. I'm heavier than ever, and pretty respectably lean. Nothing crazy, but something.
Yeah, just curious. I should have asked this at the beginning, but what's your like your stats, your height, your weight, maybe even some of your muscle?
5'9", 5'9", just over 200. When I pulled 605, I was 202. I hover just above that now, maybe like 203, between like 203, 206, depending on if I ate or whatever. I don't really know my measurements. I'd say my arms, I don't know, they're at least like 16. I don't really know. With a pump, I don't know. With a pump, they feel pretty big.
Okay, cool. Now, I want to know your thoughts on beltless versus belted training. Which do you incorporate at all?
Yeah, I do. When I do squats and I do back offsets, I do it beltless.
Right.
There's no harm in it. I think a good balance of both is obviously what you want to go for.
Okay. But when you're doing your volume work on your deadlifts, I'm assuming you wear a belt on that, and same thing for the RDL?
Yeah, especially if I'm going heavy as I've been going. I've been doing like 515, 505, 525. Definitely gonna need a belt for that. It's pretty high percentage.
Okay. One thing about your programming, do you do percentage work, or you just base it off your instinct, like you said before? Like your deadlifts,
I
you're
just
doing
based
515 for 5x5.
Yeah, I
Is
just
that
based it off of instinct. I started with 505 and I've been working up since with the 5x5. And I thought that was a good starting point. I'm not like calculating percentage because I was gunning for the 605 deadlift when I started that, and now I'm here, and yeah, I'm just trying to bump up what I'm doing. Auto
okay? What are your
regulars.
thoughts on eating big to get a bigger bench?
Obviously, if you're bigger, whether it's fat, muscle, like you're gonna bench more. But I'm not gonna say I'm not. It's cool to bench more weight, but I don't want to just like become fat to do it.
Right.
I want to become stronger.
Absolutely. So
I have no problem like being, having. I don't need to be shredded, but at the same time, I don't want to be like a blob.
yeah. Now,
Where I'm at's okay as far as body fat.
okay. Now you maintain. Hold on. You have a picture of Phil in the back. What the hell is that? Did I just see that?
No, it's a silverback, dude.
That's awesome, man. Cool. Sorry about that. It just caught me off guard. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. So you're recomping pretty effectively, eh?
Recomping?
Like you've been maintaining your weight. You're obviously pretty lean there, but you're gaining all the strength. So would you say that the whole bulking ideology is overrated for strength training?
I'd say if you're like underweight and you just have trouble putting on size, you can bulk. But I put on weight pretty easily. Back when I started like getting serious, I was big into the aesthetics thing, so I was always like, oh, I gotta maintain this leanness or I gotta get leaner. I never felt like I was lean enough, even though at one point I was pretty lean. But yeah, as far as bulking, you don't really need to do it if you're just like if you want to get stronger and you're at a decent point. You don't really need to just keep getting bigger and fatter. Just eat smart.
Right. So do you eat at a maintenance?
I don't know what my maintenance calories are, or I don't know what maintenance is for me, and I don't really calculate what I eat. I go based off of feel.
Whatever allows you to recover, that's good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you ever have moments where you're not feeling recovered?
Sorry, what?
Do you ever have moments where you feel you're under recovered? And if
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
what do you do
Sometimes.
for the training when that happens?
It stems from like the deadlift especially because it just takes so much out of you, and the next day is definitely not going to be optimal.
Yes.
Regardless, like you're gonna be tired. Your lifts are gonna go down. So you just need to work. I just need to sleep more, and that's what I gotta work on. Like I'm not gonna do heavy ass squats the day after I deadlift. It's mainly just being smart about what you're doing.
Right. But you will do heavy bench though.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's not like I'm gonna get injured benching after deadlift. I'll bench less just because I won't be able to bench as much. But I'm not gonna pull something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For bench press, how many times do you do that per week?
3 to 4.
3 to 4?
I mean, the week has 7 days. I'm doing it every other day. Sometimes it's going to be 3. Sometimes it's going to be 4.
Yeah. Like it really goes back to your recovery. What are your thoughts on optimal rest intervals? Do you go by instinct or do you time it?
Definitely instinct. I'm not going to set a timer, and regardless of if I feel like I'm going to like collapse doing it, do it.
Okay.
Like it's not obviously I'm not going to take 20-minute rest intervals or anything like that, but yeah, I just take what I need.
Okay. Do you rest until the fatigue is low enough to lift heavy, or do you go until you feel like 100%?
Since I'm not always doing these high volume multiple set sessions. That's mainly so let's just take the deadlift day for example. I'll just go until I feel like, because I'm not after like 2 sets of 5x5, you can wait an hour and you're still not going to feel exactly 100%. So I'll just go until I feel like okay, I'm ready, and it's mainly a mental thing.
On average, what would you estimate that time frame to be? 1 to 3 minutes?
Yeah, 2-3 minutes, something like that.
Okay. Now, when you're doing 1 rep maxes, I'm assuming you take much longer rest, yeah?
I try not to tire myself out too much before 1 rep maxes. I'm just doing like I'm warming up, I'm working up to it, so I never need that much time.
Okay. For the jumps, how big are they? Like your hack deadlift, for example. Do you go a plate at a time?
Yeah, I'll start at like 2 plates, then I'll go 3 plate, 4 plate, 5 plate, 6 plate, 7 plate, and then I'll maybe throw a 25, 8 plate, 25, and then At this point, I don't even know yet. So
Okay, awesome. Do you incorporate GPP work or any type of conditioning training?
once in a blue moon, I'll do like jump roping, and then sometimes I'll do like really high rep stuff. Nothing like I don't really program it though. It's mainly just if I feel like it, I do it.
Okay. And
I
for
really
strength,
that's one thing I really should start doing more is like these conditioning stuff or cardio in general.
do you think it would help your strength training performance?
I think it's just good to be healthy.
Okay. How about mobility work? What are your thoughts on
Mobility
that?
work. I stretch and I try and get a little bit more flexible. But before presses, I'll do like band pull aparts and all that stuff, like rotations and all that. And before any lower body stuff or deadlifts, I'll do a full stretching routine where I'll just try and get my hamstrings, glutes, calves, quads, all that nice and loose.
Oh,
Hips
interesting.
too.
That's
So
interesting
yeah,
because a lot of people they say you got to be tight when you're deadlifting. So you're saying you want to loosen up your hamstrings and everything?
that's they mean like form tight. You want to make
Yeah.
sure your form is tight. You want to feel flexible though. You don't want to be like, I can't really get into this position. You want your form to be tight. You want your lats to like, really pull the weight in.
So what are some stretches that you incorporate for your goals?
Um, I try and do I do like quad stretches, hamstring stretches, calf stretches where you just like push up against something. I like to do those what they call like hurdle lunges or something where you stretch your hip flexors.
Okay.
I do it's like you're standing but they're not standing, it's like you're leaning forward into sort of like a butterfly stretch. Um, you know, lower back stretching,
Yeah.
really basic stuff.
Okay. And this is static stretching.
Static, yeah. I do this after a couple warm up sets.
Let's say you're deadlifting, you're 5 by 5. When would you do the stretching?
I'll do sets with all the way one plate, two plate, all the way to four plates, and then I'll stretch.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. And you find that your performance increases when you do that?
I just feel a lot better going into the actual heavy weight when I do that because I feel like I fired them up and then like I stretch them nice and loose and then I go for it.
Okay. Does your lower back ever feel tight from training?
Not lately. It's really like after a deadlift day, sure, but going into it, I'm golden.
What are your general thoughts on injury prevention? Are there certain things that you feel are very important for preventing injuries and maximizing performance?
I think you basically what you're doing as far as like if you're going into something if something feels off, you have to have discretion. Some things just happen, but for the most part, you know your body and you should just listen to it.
Okay. Do you ever incorporate specialty bars into your training?
What do you mean, like?
The safety squat bar.
Yeah, I do that. Nothing. I don't really program it per se. It's just if I feel like doing the safety squat bar, I'll do it. So I've used it for the behind the neck press. I saw JJ from Dairyland's Giant do
Yeah.
that. So, oh, that looks cool. So I
That's
did
a
it.
hard lift, man. That's a really hard
Yeah.
lift. I tried it out and it's not easy. It's on a
Yeah.
similar level to the strict press, if not more difficult.
Yeah, because you're letting it like just rest on your back and then you're pressing it. I hit a super grindy 235, and after that I kind of had a headache. So
That's
it's not
amazing.
easy.
Well, amazing. So it goes back to your shoulder dominance in a sense. Like
Oh
you
yeah, I'm
excel at
definitely
overhead presses.
confident. Like I hit a 315 incline, but my flat bench isn't a whole lot higher.
That's crazy. I want to talk about the overhead press then. So you did 235 behind the neck. What about from the front?
Um, it's been a while since I maxed that, but I think I've only gone as high as 225 for that one time I posted it.
Okay. You think you could do more than the behind the neck version?
I think they're pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's say you wanted to overhead press 275. Let's just assume that for a second. What type of programming would you use?
Well, I'd definitely sub it out for the pause bench. I'd be doing overhead press 3-4 times a week. That would be my go-to. If you want a bigger overhead press, you got to overhead press. So that would definitely take priority.
And it would be the same tactic. And you just
Yep.
do one PR and maybe a back off set if you feel like it.
Yeah, that would be my thing. I'd probably go, I don't know, maybe try 5 by 5, like, I don't know, 195, 185, 205, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
And then just see if I can hit it, and then maybe I'll just do every other day, try and hit more reps with whatever weight I choose.
Okay. But you wouldn't be doing one rep maxes every time you lift, yeah?
Nah, nah.
Okay. So it's really with the volume work. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting here by talking to you.
Yeah. And it's more than just uh, like volume versus intensity. I'd say it's like you're doing it more, so you're getting better at it skill wise. So that's probably helping a ton.
Are there any mindset techniques that you like to employ? Like, do you put on certain music? Do you psych
Oh yeah,
yourself up?
music is a must. Gotta have a good track going. And I don't know, you just kind of you gotta bottle up whatever you're feeling and then just let it out when you're lifting. I like to get my anxiety going, and then that's when I go for it.
Okay.
It's like if you've ever watched George Lehman talk about like your adrenaline, you gotta feel
Yeah, you
with
gotta
that
feel
rush.
yeah.
Yeah, and the adrenaline, it's just you know when it hits you, and then you go for it.
Actually, yeah. What made you get interested in starting a YouTube channel? Was it just for yourself to see your progress?
Sort of, kinda. I was that was mid when I was pretty into the Jeffersons. I'm like, I'm making pretty good progress on this. Maybe I'll just take some videos, post them somewhere for the fun of it, and then I'm like, oh, what's my channel name gonna be? And that was just something I was thinking about for a couple days. Yeah, I didn't expect to really gain any traction, but here we are.
Well, you know what it is, man. When you're strong like that, that's what happens. People, they recognize what you're doing. Like, for example, just look at Caleb Willem. He came out of nowhere. Everybody's talking about him now, but he just came out of nowhere. Like, so when you're a really strong guy, especially you're doing it naturally. It's like people are looking. What the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, he's Caleb Willem is like insane. I saw him pull 900. He doesn't like I'm not saying he doesn't look like he lifts, but
Yeah. I get it.
he's like if you look at him, you're like, okay,
You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I get
he's a
it.
guy. But and then you see him like walk up to a bar with 900 pounds and just lift it like it's nothing.
Yeah, but he also has great leverages too. But I'm not taking anything away from him. He's definitely a strong guy. He knows what he's doing. And
Yeah,
he gives pretty good advice too. If you see his videos.
yeah. I watched his video on the hook grip, and I've been trying to sort of take that into my training when I'm trying to master the hook grip.
Right. I want to know your opinion on partials. Do you ever incorporate them into your training, like progressive range of motion? Like say overhead pressing from here, then gradually lower? Or it's not something that you really dabbled with yet?
Not really. I mean, I don't feel like I've done a couple here and there, but I didn't really walk out of the gym feeling like I made any progress or like I'm really. It just doesn't give you the same feel as a full range of motion, and I feel like that's another thing that I was trying to hint at. I know it's been talked about a little bit, but like people are taking the partials and they're kind of overdoing them and trying to like replace the full range with them, and it's I don't know.
No, I get it. That's why, man, like, if you're going to do partials, have an objective in mind. Progressive range of motion. Or if you're doing it, make sure it's for the right reasons. Like, let's say you have a bad lower back and you can't do conventional deadlifts, for example. Do block pulls. 4 inches above the ground, problem solved. You know? So it depends on the usage.
I don't know if it'll like solve the problem because regardless of where it is, you're gonna feel it on your lower back.
You will, but it depends on your anthropometry as well.
Yeah.
Usually it's the upper extremities of hip flexion for a lot of people. So when you elevate the bar a little bit, even the high handle trap bar deadlift, that could be a life changer for many people, especially if they've had injuries in the past, you know?
Yeah. High handle trap bar deadlift is not something I've been able to really max out with just because of
Because that sucks.
it's not. It doesn't hold enough weight.
Man.
It's kind of fun. It's hard to find a barbell or a trap bar that can hold as much weight as I can max with. So I haven't really been using it that much. I'm pretty sure I could probably hit my same somewhere where my hack deadlift would be.
Yeah. I'm sure you could hit around 800 or so.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great lift though. I mean, it sucks that your trap bar can't load up more.
I've done like cheat rows with them, and those are pretty fun.
You ever do barbell shrugs? And if so, do you find that it raises your performance or? It's just one of those mass things.
I think if anything, it's just for your traps, just to get your traps bigger. I don't really do them too much. I feel like I don't know. It's just not something I feel like I need to prioritize. I think just from frequent pulling and all that stuff, my traps get a decent amount of workload. If something strikes me, or I'm just like, oh, I want some freaky traps, then I'll just throw them in.
Okay.
But I feel like my traps are decent enough.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. Do you do network at all or no?
I played around with it for a couple weeks these past couple weeks, but I don't know. I've been getting more headaches, so maybe I'm just like taking a break with them. I don't know if it's related to that. Like I told you, I got like a bit of a headache after doing that safety bar behind the neck press, so I don't know if it's related to that.
Sounds like
So
it could be related. I'll be honest.
I'm just taking a break on it, and then maybe I'll come back to it. But my neck, I kind of have good genetics for the neck. Without even training it, it was like so when I was just doing infrequent here and there neck training, my neck was at least 17 inches, and then I stopped, and it maybe was like 16, and then those couple weeks where I was just training it, it was 18 again. So
okay, so it blows up pretty fast.
yeah. Also, probably since I have like a grappling background, so
Right. Nucleus overload. That's what it goes back to.
yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of wrapping up here. I wanted to ask you a few more questions, and then we'll leave it at that. So for one, what are some of your future goals with this? Not necessarily your channel, but I'm talking about your lifting. Because you're doing a lot of pulls right now, like conventional deadlifts. So do you have anything in mind that you're trying to reach?
As far as my general goal is to just raise every single lift I have, but specifically the conventional deadlift, I'd like to hit 700 as soon as I possibly can. I'd like to hit at least a 500 high bar squat with like good depth, and then bench, I'd like to hit 4 plates. I don't know where that would bring me on incline, but wherever that is, I don't really do incline too much. So
yeah. When do you think you'll hit these numbers?
I think within the year. I think it's possible.
Shit.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
That's crazy. So do you ever think of competing in powerlifting? Because you're hitting
Yeah.
amazing
I'm actually
numbers.
thinking about doing one at some point pretty soon, maybe this summer, just because well, it can't hurt.
Well, I mean, with your numbers, man, you can probably hit some records. Or like really high up there, be a super elite. Because you're really, it's impressive stuff, especially for your age.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, it's fun. It looks like it's a fun thing to do, so I'll try it out. I have nothing to lose.
Okay. How about your channel? Are there any goals you have for that?
I don't know. It's cool just to have new people come onto it. Yeah, I don't really. As far as it's cool. I'm at 900 something right now, so once I hit 1,000, that's a milestone. I don't see it getting like massive, but yeah, some growth. That's cool.
It's a nice little community that you got going on there. You know.
Yeah, it's
Made
not so
some friends
much
along
how
the way
many.
there.
It's like I'd like to have a community of like, good people in it.
Yeah. No, it's all solid people.
I get the occasional trolls here and there, but
Oh yeah, definitely. That's
the
part of the
internet,
game,
what you gonna do?
Yeah. But I think it's cool what you got going on there, man. You release your PRs, then you have some serious lifters coming in. You even do some challenges, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's also just cool to be in this little circle of all these channels.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome stuff, absolutely. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to ask you for today's interview. I really appreciate you being here today. I think you shared a lot of valuable information, and it's going to help out a lot of people who are trying to raise their strength. So I want to know, are there any final thoughts, things that I may have missed, or like do you have any messages that you'd like to say to my audience before you sign off?
Yeah, do your best. If you want to get stronger, do the conventional deadlifts. Don't leave the odd lifts out. But it's like I said one time, like on my thing, I said like the odd lifts are great. They work along with the conventional, not in place. So make sure you do them all. Why leave any stone unturned?
Awesome. Do it all. Let's stop with the black and white thinking, and let's stop hating one another for our training styles. Let's just embrace it for what it is and be mature about
Yeah.
strength training, because we're just
I mean, it's the
lifting
internet,
weights at the end of
so
the day. You
be
know?
mature.
Yeah, be mature. All right, Alec. Thank you for your time. If people want to find you, where can they do that?
My channel, not strong enough.
Not
And then
strong.
I also have, yeah,
There you go.
with a K. And then I also have an Instagram, which is like barely, it's there. So they can find me there if they want. So, yep, that's about it.
Okay, cool, bro. Keep making those PRs. I wish you nothing but continual success with your gains in life.
Yeah, man, same to you.
All right, take care.
Take care.